So we'll start. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this month's training session. Today we'll be sharing the ropes with not just for chat, Microsoft Teams. I know some of you have been looking forward to this one. I know I have, since I learned some interesting tools during this preparation. Before I hand over, just a few important notes. A recorded version of this training session will be available at the bottom of our registration page. Should you have any questions, please post them in the chat and we will address those at the end. Regarding our upcoming training, we have the Tetris of Business Excel on the 30th of October at 12:30. And then you can also check our registration page, vertech.co.nz/training, to stay informed on our monthly training sessions. Okay, and now over to Daniel.
Great stuff. Okay, so if you could just mute your speaker, that'd be great. All right, so thank you guys for coming along. All right, this is going to be a rough and ready one. I'm going to share my screen in a second, and then we'll be able to get into it. Okay, because I'm going to share a bunch of things on here. So hopefully you can now see 20 plus top teams tips to turbocharge teamwork. And we'll get into it really shortly. We've got another person turning up, which is great. Okay, so we can have these slides available later on. I've tried to get some of the screenshots in there so they'll be useful later on, but others were simply just memory aids for myself. All right, so first of all, why do we care about teams, or why should you care about teams? Essentially, the business is getting more and more competitive. For those of you who aren't in competitive arrangements, don't worry about that. But essentially, for the average service business out there, the cost of entry into your market space is lower than has ever been. In that, with so many tools becoming digitized, and then offered as a software as a service, people don't have to actually spend a lot of money, and with the cost of borrowing so low, you can get new entrants into your market space fairly quickly, right? So if you're a more established business, you need to keep working on your efficiency to maintain your gross margin, right? Now, Microsoft Teams is included in most subscriptions with Microsoft 365, what used to be known as Office 365. It is included in the Microsoft 365 Basic, Standard, and Premium. So a lot of our clients will have the Microsoft Standard license. There might be a few people who have the Microsoft Exchange Online license, which can be upgraded to the Office Basic package to include SharePoint and OneDrive, as well as Teams and the email, which is worth doing. Generally, what I'm seeing is that most people are using all of the tools that come with the subscription completely, right? And there's a couple of things that I worry about. That is that, one, if you're using tools and you're thinking, man, this isn't all that fantastic compared to, say, some other solution, it might be that you're not realizing all the things that you can do with it, more tools, in order to round out the capabilities that you think you need for your environment, but you may not do. And the worst possibility about that is where you have staff who go out and to provide some functionality which they want, where it's Dropbox or some kind of marketing tool or forms that they're bolting onto what they're doing on their day-to-day practice. And if you don't have centralized control about it, it also means that you don't have a good grip on where your intellectual property is disappearing to. All right, so and that has concerns with regards to confidentiality as well. So from a security perspective, and I'm very keen on cybersecurity, as you know. It serves you well to get the most out of what you already have. All right. Now, one of the first things we're going to crack into is guest mode. All right. This is Microsoft Teams, and I can go into one of my Teams groups, and this is the engineering group, and I can add in, move that out of the way. I can simply add in a guest member in here. All right. And they don't actually have to have a Teams license. So it's possible that you can invite complete third parties, whether it's suppliers or vendors, into your Teams chats if they're like, say, a contractor. All right. In which case you can just type in, and here's one that I've already pre-added, Daniel at intrepid.kiwi, which is my Gmail account. All right. You select that in, you click the add button, boom, they will get an invitation. Just move that over there. That will look like this. Now, some people say, I have a lot of tabs open a lot of time, and surely that's not good for me. I also have a neat little utility called the Great Suspender, which you just saw what it did there. It just puts tabs to sleep, so it doesn't consume a whole bunch of memory. Anyway, back to Teams. Microsoft Teams, you'll get an invitation like that, and you can click that, open it up, and go through a setting up of a guest account in Microsoft Teams, which means that you can get in and access Teams as that person. And there you go. You can see me having gotten into this Teams group. I can now participate within this Teams channel. I also have the app in here, so I can see that under the journal entry. Good stuff. Awesome. All right. Simple. Okay. Back to the PowerPoint. So remember where we're going to next. Okay, and that's accessing it as the web portal as well. So there I got the invitation, and when you click on that invitation, you can go and download the Windows app, or you can use the web app. All right. And that's what I demonstrated there under this. I'm using an incognito window so I can have two accounts going at the same time. And that's through teams.microsoft.com. All right. Bianca, if there's any questions which pop up during this that anybody wants to linger over or slow down or show me that again, let me know. So third point, keyboard shortcuts. There is a lot you can do within Teams just through a keyboard shortcut. And the most important one to know is Control Dot. So I'll just nip back to Teams. Whoops, wrong one. We go, pressing the Control button, and boom, takes me to the keyboard shortcuts shortlist, right? And you can learn these or go through and start learning them one by one. But that's the key thing in there. You can even accepting a video call or rejecting it straight out from keyboard shortcuts. Yeah. And like anything in Windows, the standard control paste, control C, control V for pasting applies as well. All right. And bookmarking messages. Okay, great stuff. So let me just put back here. Now you're going to end up, that's wrong. You're going to end up having chat sessions with people, and there'll be information which comes in there which you're like, I need to make note of that. Okay, so you can find a message like this and go, I want to remember that for later. Come in and save this message. We just make sure that they're all muted in the background. Okay, good. So, and then it's like, well, if you want to find it later, how do you do that? Well, you come up to the search field up here and just /saved. And it'll show me, here's a saved message here that I had with Bianca. Now, you may have guessed that Bianca is Afrikaans, so we did some playing about with that as well. Okay, so that was going up to the little dot, 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 the ellipses, and hitting that and going save this message. All too easy. Okay, marking in as read and unread, that's straightforward as well. Any of these messages, I can right click on it in the chat session and go mark this one as unread. All right, I'll come back to you later, essentially is what you're saying. Because once it's been read, it's a bit hard to find. If you've read it and you want to save it, go to the message and go to the dot, dot, dot and save it. And that can be done on any of those. All right. Rich text formatting. All right, so we can get into a message here and we can make it very pretty, right? So we can click this button here, which gives you all the access into these normal things, right? So you might have a heading 1. This is a presentation. Yep, and then you can get into the normal text of it, maybe do some bullet points. Point 1, point 2, boom, boom. Inspiring quote. Boom, easy. And it just makes it stand out a bit more than the normal kind of plain text, okay? So that's a neat little functionality for those who want to make their presentations come alive. Well, not presentations. Now, you can also have your chat sessions translated, right? Having a bit of a play with this, now it will translate into your language, right? So it's taking your language defaults and will translate for you. So should we try this, Bianca? How about you write me a message in here, and we'll see if it will translate for me. Well, go on. Okay, cool. Go to here, the 3 dots, translate. Good day, Daniel. How's this going? It's going well. Nice. See, too easy. And just gets that little symbol there to show that it was translated from Dutch. Oh, close enough, I guess. Hey. All right, so that can be handy. So if you've got a supplier in a third country, you can say, hey, look, I can't understand what you're saying. How about you just send it to me in a text via chat and go from there. I think I've already quickly covered this, but there is a bunch of commands that are available directly from that search bar in there. And if you just simply type in /, you see a list of all the commands. So you can straight away set yourself to being on busy, and it will change that to that. Yeah, I mean, and it's very straightforward. Usually I'm just letting it follow it. Your status will follow what your calendar shows. So right now I would have been set as busy anyway because I'm got a meeting in my calendar. All right, but I'm just going to set it to do not disturb in case somebody decides to send me some messages during the rest of this presentation. At mentions. Okay, so one of the neat things in this is that I can write a message about to the team, and I will say, hey, did you see that at Bianca got an award for being best marketing. And she will get a notification that somebody's talking about her, which is cute. All right. That's one way of making sure that other people are given a heads up of what's going on. If you want to draw their attention to a particular chat that's going on within your organization. Okay, emailing to a team. So in the teams field down here, every group that you have, I'll just hide that group, every group that you have has an email address associated with it. Okay, so you are able to, because this is set within the Office 365 environment, each one does have its own email address. Simply put, operations at or Vertech all at. All right. So you can easily, there we go, get email address. Boom. It'll just copy it. Generally, it will be follow the same thing, but there does have an email address associated directly to it, even if it's no one in there. And that way you can send an email to the entire group that way. I might have to move that over there. There we go. All right, number 11. Okay, hiding channels. Once you start using Teams a lot more, you will be tempted to get more and more channels going on. And say you can straight out hide a whole team if you don't want to see them, and they will just come under the hidden teams area. All right, and then you can unhide them. All right. One of the problems that I have on a regular basis is that I'm what's the word? Bombarded by requests and things. When you're the boss, everybody wants to try and bump things up to you, and it becomes harder and harder for you to maintain focus and therefore productivity to get the big things that need to get done in order to drive your organization forward. So having a tool like that, I find, is really handy, just to narrow down how many things are coming into me at a given time as the team grows. Okay, that wasn't wrong. Okay, immersive reader. Okay, so this would be great if you're, I don't know, immersive reader. Right, that's what we were doing. Immersive reader. Okay, now it's working. Yay. So it will launch up a window like this, and then it will, you can just press the play button, and it will walk you through.
Friday, September 18th, 2020, 11:52 a.m. This is an urgent message, a very urgent message indeed.
Now, I don't think the audio would have come through for you guys, but I certainly heard it. And you can choose the voice settings, whether you want male or female. You can speed it up, slow it down, which is a pretty cool feature. Especially since we spend so much time in our cars driving around the place. But I still recommend, if you're doing that kind of thing, perhaps you should just pull over. Okay, all right, so when you're in a Teams meeting, and I'm just going to call Bianca now. Okay, we'll just do a quick meeting, Bianca. I'm just dialing here now. Okay. So apparently, okay. So we're able to change my background effects through here. And they've got blur and all the rest of it in here as well. You can add in your own backgrounds, and people have some fun with that. All right, so that's cool. Oh, that's right. And you can also switch on. Bianca, do you want to blur your background for the fun of it? Oh, you've hung up. Let's try that. I'll call you again. Bianca, could you blur your background by going up to the 3 dots? Like so, more actions, and apply background effects. There we go. Cool. And actually, if you could mute yourself on that team, that'd be great. Oh, no, don't do that. Let's leave it. My microphone's muted currently, but then we're turning on closed captions, which is the other thing I wanted to show people. And as you can see, you could potentially have a conversation or be in a meeting with the sound off if you're in an area where it's not going to work very well for you to have other people listening in, which is neat. We also, when testing this, discovered that it does not work in conjunction with Translate. So try and keep it to a single language and it'll work fine. All right, very good. Now, I think there might be one more item that we wanted to do on that. Oh yes, we'll disconnect that meeting now, but that shows that functionality, which is really, really cool. All right, so sharing files for collaboration. Simply put, within Teams, you can attach files in there. Just go back to that saved chat, and you can see that. Oh no, it wasn't that saved chat. It was another saved chat. Well, you can attach documents directly into here for people to find from your, straight into from OneDrive, or you can upload them from your computer and share those documents with other people within the organization. And it will be saved into SharePoint so that it's available thereafter. It's not a temporary thing. It's going to be accessible via the web portal as well. And if you have our Cloudfighter product in there, then your team conversations are saved when they're done under the actual teams rather than one-to-one chats. But everything that gets saved in there will be uploaded into Teams. Fairly straightforward functionality. Adding tabs, websites, etc. There's that quite cool functions too. So up the top here, we've got chat, we've got the files that we may have shared with each other in the past, and there are a few in there. There is also, we've got the ability to, actually, if I go to team, I think that's where we've added, there we go, cool. So this is under the sales and marketing tab. We've got the files that we've shared with each other there, in which case there's none under the group. But you can come in here and you can add in additional applications. This is Microsoft Planner. Right? This is a simple project management tool like a Kanban board where you can add in tasks, set due dates, assign people, and put it in here. And then you can provide progress comments in there, put in additional checkpoints, color code, and all the rest. All right. And that's by coming in here, go click, add a tab. And there is a whole stack load of apps that are natively supported. And they're not just Microsoft apps. You can, like, if you already use Trello, you can incorporate this directly in here. There is, polling apps. You can add in videos from your streaming website, Wikipedia pages, all sorts of in there. There is a massive amount of native integrations there's a high likelihood if you're using additional apps that one of them is already going to be in here somewhere along the way. Oh, Cahoots. Didn't even notice that one before. Yeah, so that's very handy. In this situation, we've also got a OneNote sales and marketing notebook where we shared little notes about what we were going to be working on, and we've added that directly into here, so we don't necessarily have to wander into another application, which is very useful if you're going out there and just using it via a tablet. You don't have all the applications installed on whatever device it is. If you can access it through the web, you can get access into it via Teams as well. Navigating back and forth with a browser, it is straightforward. Up to top left, you can just go back. If there was a chat 3 things back, you can just navigate straight back to it as you were doing before. Use these little arrows back and forth. Nice and easy. Oh, urgency. Okay, so there are some really cool features here. You can mark a message as really, really urgent. It's standard message, just marking it as important. But this one here, urgent, it will bug them every 2 minutes for 20 minutes. Like, this is a very urgent message. Which I think I did that with, oh yeah, Bianca. Did you find that annoying? Good. So you would have likely got the message. Yeah. Which, why not? I mean, personally, I'm always a big fan of just picking up the phone if it's urgent. But this might be one of those situations where you're on a phone call with a client or somebody, and you need somebody to go find some information rapid. You can fire off a quick message whilst you're on the phone and have them get that information back to you so that you can carry on the argument well armed. Okay, the activity center is fairly straightforward too. It just shows you everything that's been going on. All right, so if we nip back in here, activity, you can see what's going on. Bianca's reacted to this, that, the other thing. You can filter it down by, say, individual items, like just show me my messages, ones that I've reacted to. There's all sorts of options in there to make that straightforward. Yep. Simply, there's lots of different ways to try and find information once you've put it into Teams, because like anything, it's often more about trying to recall the information once it's out there. All right. Okay, chat's meeting. As we showed you before, you can be in a chat session and you can very easily just convert that straight into a video call. Often once you get into a call, you can then go, well, actually, I want to add another person into that call. And you can just click the add people button in there and it will call them as well. All right, so you can fire that through and get multiple people talking in there. So there is also ways to integrate this in with the PSTN, the public switch telephone network, so that you can call people on their cell phones directly. It does require an additional license through Microsoft, and it needs to be integrated in a special way with your telephony provider. Not everybody is offering that as a service. But that way, then you end up having just simply one tool and one method to be able to communicate with everybody, both inside your organization and out. Sharing a window, sure. Okay, let's just do that. I'll give you another call. And Bianca, I'll just do a voice call this time. All right, great stuff. I'm just going to mute myself, and I am going to just send you my screen. Where is that in the way? Oh, it's this button here. Sorry. And I can choose whether I should give her the whole screen or just one of the applications that are within it, all right? So there's going to be times, and if you've got multiple screens, there'll be screen 1 and screen 2 and screen 3. You can choose to include sound, so you could play a video, and that may or may not come through nicely if depending on your bandwidth, but it's a possibility there, okay? I don't think there's any other points to make on that. You can also request remote controller access in there. So if I was to share a screen, I can present it, and then I can also give control. Hang on. This is getting confusing because I've got multiple control panels up here with Zoom as well. So Bianca's requesting it. I can allow it or deny it, in which case this time I'm going to stop presenting. Very good. All right, let's leave that call. Right. So when we're on a call, you can record them. I'll just show you what we did in this case rather than start. Oh, no, should we do it? Should we do a quick call? I'll do a call and record. Okay, let's do that. Okay, and I'm going to start recording. That's fine. See, we're recording. Okay, and great. That's enough for us. Okay, so now we're leaving that. Now I'll go across to back to Chrome. Move that out of the way, and I should probably explain how it gets to there. So under the so if you log into the portal, your Microsoft portal, I'm not logging into Microsoft portal. There are a stack of applications. If you hit the 9 dots in there, one of them is Stream. And Stream is like Microsoft's internal version of YouTube for you. All right. So it shows a call that we recorded recently, but it will also give it a little bit of time once it finishes uploading, show the video that we just recorded then. Okay, which is pretty neat. Okay, and if we go into this, we can do some neat little things in here. Oh yeah, that's that one just now. And we can do some things with this as well. I think I'm getting into the next point. We can change speeds. It's downloadable. You can add some additional information into it. Theater mode. And if I just go back to the home on that. Details. Okay, so update video details. We can set who we're going to share it with within the organization. We can update its description, state its language, right? And we can also get it to auto-generate. Sorry, what did that change? Let me just go back into that again. Update video details. Now, I wonder why that's not editing in that right now. I'll come back to that at some point. But it can be set to auto-generate captions. It may still be uploading why it's not. Oh, sorry, because I've actually got to set it to English, which is at the top. Boom. Right, now I can auto-generate captions. Fabulous. we're happy with those permissions in the description. Throw some hashtags in there, and share. Cool. And you can grab a link and you could send that directly out to other people with the right permissions. And that gets added to the list of videos. Cool. All right. Now back to my presentation so I can see what's going on. Yeah, with captions, already gone through that. There's an example that we did earlier for when I was testing with Bianca, and it just ticks off, and it does a pretty good job of it, actually. And that will play as you're playing it, and you'll see all the captions with it, and it's all downloadable, which is great. Okay, pinning a channel. So if one of these channels is very important, you want to make sure that you've got it's a viewable. You can set it to be pinned and it will show up the top. It's just another way of keeping control of all the different things that are going on within your environment. Plus, you can add in here notifications so that you're getting alerts as to whether something has happened. So you might post something into a channel and then be waiting for people to reply. And rather than missing it, you can have those notifications switched on. And just unpinning it again to make it disappear back into the pile. We're coming to the end. We're doing pretty well, actually. Okay, I've already gone into apps like Planner. Got out of order there. And tag mentions as well. So managing tags, notifying a whole group of people at once by adding those tags in there. And let me show you that because it's not quite as straightforward as you might think. So within Teams chats, you can create your own. You can create sets of people within, say, a team that you might want to communicate with. So under operations, I created a tag called Service Desk Guys, right? Which has got 3 of the guys in it, and also created one for engineers. So at on-site engineers, boom, testing again. And then those guys only will get that message or get a message alert to see that. And now I'm just struggling to remember, how did I do that? Oh yeah, manage tags. So the 3 ellipses, manage tags, create tags. Just meaner. Okay, oh yeah. Boom. Simple like that. Create the tag, and then there is a tag specific to that group of people. Easy. Look, and this is the last slide, I promise you. I don't like doing death by PowerPoint, but it does kind of fit what we're doing here. Getting help is very simple, all right? So you can go to the search field and just type in /help, right? You can go down to the bottom of the application, and there's a little question field there. Yeah, and you get taken through to topics where you can dive into exactly how to do things. Some of the things I've worked on is done under the admin's portal, right, within Office 365. And generally, most people don't have access to that, but for most clients, would be one person who would be considered like the super user in the environment, all right, who might be the person who wants to add in sub channels and things like that once we've done the basic loadout, and then customize it as they like. All right. So sorry, I was trying to come on. This is taking a long while. Am I having an internet connection issue, do you think? Oh, it might have been logged out. Okay, admin.microsoft is taking a long time to load up, but we'll move on. Within Teams, there is also training, and there's training videos on pretty much most of the points that I've gone over, which go into a little bit more detail. Any news that comes out about new releases for the application will be put out through here as well. And Microsoft have been putting a lot of effort into their applications. A few years ago, I wouldn't have dreamed of recommending clients get onto SharePoint or Skype, because it was a little bit kind of disconnected. These days, they're really ramping it up. Microsoft is very much a cloud-first, mobile-first application developer, and there's constantly new features which are coming through all the time. My last real point on this is that for our clients that we have a flat rate service plan on, training is included for these kind of issues. If there's something that you want to do and you're not sure how, you can always fire an email through to our service desk at vertech.co.nz, or you pick up the phone, and there's no charge on that kind of activity. We want to make sure that you guys are getting the best out of your application suite, and however we can help you out with that, we're more than happy to do so. So I think now is probably a good time. We've got probably 10 minutes for questions, possibly. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions, queries, troubles, or theories? No.
Question from Rebecca asking, how do you delete chats?
Okay, question from Rebecca. How do we delete chats? That's a good question. Is that kind of like I am regretful of what I've just said and I need to take that back? Or, well, let's have a look. I haven't deleted it. Oh, the recording is now ready. That's nice to know. Okay. Well, delete that. Hit the 3 dots and it will show as a message has been deleted. You can undo it, but they won't be able to undo it. So yes, if you've said something immediately regretful, you can delete it. Unlike email, which is once it goes out the door, you can't get it back. At least here you've got that possibility of swiping that out before somebody takes offense, or they've potentially got something waiting in their chat session that you would not like them to see. And something else in the chat. How do I let a member of a team only see one channel? Okay, so that will come straight down to permissions. Everything within SharePoint is, if they're not in the team, then they won't get to see it. So for example, that guest that I created, which I'll just flick across to, so this is my guest account that I created, which is Daniel at Intrepid Kiwi, all right, DK, right? I put him in as a guest for the engineering group. He doesn't get to see any of the other teams. So that's one way that you can control it. At the high level, it is setting up your groups at the outset so that the right people can see what they need to see and they're not in groups that they shouldn't. Okay. Generally, and now it can get a bit complex, but generally the way we like to roll with our clients is that we allocate top level folders, right, that line up with your SharePoint folders and what's called role-based access control. So I've just opened up File Explorer. You'll see how we've kind of put together our SharePoint. So I've got my personal OneDrive, my Vertech OneDrive, and then this is our SharePoint setup. So we have accounts management, operations they have a bunch more folders. So we've separated them out into documentation, customer documentation, and then sales and marketing. Right. So these groups line up directly with how it is within teams. We have an operations, sales, marketing, management, accounts. And the memberships are the same within them. And that's what we recommend our clients do. And that way it doesn't get confusing. You know that if somebody's in the operations part of your environment, that's what they have access to. They'll be in the operations chat. So it just takes, when we do onboarding projects with our clients for moving people into SharePoint, and if you're setting up the SharePoint that way, it usually follows through that your teams would also be the same in that respect. And there's another chat message. No, okay. If there's no other questions, then I think we'll call it there. Bianca, was there anything that had come through from your side?
No, nothing.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you for sticking with us. I know we had some issues with the internet connection here. Hopefully that was helpful. We'll post this up onto our website under the free training tab at the top of the website, and along with all the videos as we go through the series, and make it available as well as the PowerPoint there. If we're always interested in hearing what our clients would like us to provide, like training sessions like this on. So flick an email through to Bianca or myself if you've got any ideas. Love to hear them. Any way that we can serve you and help you grow your businesses, I'm very keen to assist. Alrighty. Thank you much, everybody. Have a fantastic afternoon. Smash the week out and enjoy.
Thank you. Goodbye.